This is the 2020 Hyundai Kona. I forget the engine size, 2 liter or 2.2. I think it's 2 liter. Anyway, a subscriber had asked if I could change do a tire rotation and just show how to do it. I'll go ahead and do that. These probably came with the car. Looks like just an extra set of lug nuts and then a socket for the locking lug nut. So here's what it looks like. It won't have that pink thing on there. I just painted that on there because I wasn't thinking correctly. I was thinking it would help me identify it better, but anyhow, and then there's what it looks like on the inside. So you just find the locking nut, which it'll be the one that looks different from the others, and just put this in until it clicks, until it kind of clicks into place. Let's see here. There we go. You heard it sink down in there. And just give it a good twist either way, and it's got a bite to that bolt. So we're going to jack the car up on one side and then the other side. For a little word on jack stands, there are a lot of different varieties, but I would just make sure you use them because the jack is not designed to hold the weight, it's just designed to lift it. But this is what you would call a double locking, so the ratchet bar locks into place there, and then this will go in here. I think it goes on the other side, but I think you get the idea. Just like that. So that way, if anything were to happen to the ratchet bar or to the locking mechanism, this pin would keep the ratchet bar from sinking down into place. I think you're supposed to bend those tabs, but I never have. So this jack, obviously there are a lot of different jacks you can use. This is the 1.5 ton racing jack from Harbor Freight. It's the one that used to be $60 on coupon, and now it's probably a bajillion dollars. But I like to use a little hockey puck, or you can use a block of wood, something to just kind of cushion the metal to metal of the frame and the saddle of the jack. So just try to find a solid piece of the frame. I think I'm going to use this nut right there. That's where the control arm bushing is. So I'll just use that, or yeah, I'll just use that. Okay, here we go. So if you don't have an impact, you should probably go ahead and loosen your, at least loosen the lug nuts. So I'm on the passenger side here, so I'm going to do this pretending I don't have an impact wrench. So the wheel is just barely off, or just barely on the ground. So that'll give you some friction, so that the the nuts don't just spin, the wheel doesn't just spin as you're trying to loosen everything. So this locking lug nut key is going to require a 21 millimeter. So let's just go ahead and put that on. There's the one that's different from all the other ones. I heard it kind of settle into place. Just put this on it. I have a 25 inch half-inch drive breaker bar. It was $8.99 at Harbor Freight. I'm sure it's like a bajillion dollars now, but let's just go ahead and connect this. And we're just going to turn to the left counterclockwise. Just break it free. That's good enough. And just do that on all the other wheels. Because these wheels are chrome, it's good to get a socket that has the plastic lining on the inside and outside. So, well, I can't find that one. I can't find that socket in my toolbox, so I'll just use this. Just be careful not to scratch the wheels. So we're just going to turn this counterclockwise on all the rest of them. Just get them loosened up, and then because if you get them all the way off, then you might put some awkward pressure on the lug studs, the lug nut studs. I've done that before, where it's unbolted, but it still has weight on it, so it kind of, the angle of it might change or something, and it, you can end up damaging those. So just just partially take them off, just crack them loose, and then jack it up the rest of the way. Okay, I've got all 5 cracked loose. Now we're just going to jack it up all the way. Alright. I forgot, because we're doing a tire rotation, that we would want to jack up the entire side of the car. So the center of gravity should be somewhere around where the steering wheel is. So I'm just going to try to find a spot under here. I won't show that, but I'll find a spot under here and I'll let you know where it is. Okay, I just did it on the pinch weld there. That's not really the preferred surface in my opinion, but it's just hard to tell on some cars like where a good spot is. So you can see both of the tires are lifted up. So we'll just put 2 jack stands under there. We'll go on for the rear. I don't know if you can see that notch right there. There's one part of that notch, and there's the other part. And just put the jack stand right there. That'll work. All right. And it should catch when it lowers down. Go ahead and put the pin in. Jesus. All right, we got the pin in. And then on the front here, there's that same notch here and here. So we might try to get this jack up one more notch. There we go. Okay, we'll slowly lower it down. Oop. So much for slowly. But yeah, it's lowered down. And I like to use the little rubber protectors on the top of the jack stands. That kind of prevents this metal on metal situation here. But they're on another set and I don't feel like getting them off. So anyway, you would do the same thing to the other side of the car. You would go over with your other 2 jack stands and lift it up right here, about even with the steering wheel. And you just want to be really careful on that side. Go really slow, because obviously, and you want to have a level surface, but you want to be really careful on that second side, because as you're lifting that up, there's like going to be like a fulcrum here where all the weight shifts from, from over there. The weight is going to shift upward on these, jack stands that are on the first side. So just be extra careful when you're jacking up the other side. And so, yeah, you're going to need 4 jack stands. These are 3-ton, and these are 2-ton back there. You can probably get away with one of them, but it's a really good idea to, if you put it right in line with the steering wheel, but it's a good idea to just have 2. Actually, scratch that. If you're doing a tire rotation, you need all 4. All right. So I'm not actually doing a tire rotation. I'm just showing how to, how to take it all off and jack it up and everything. I'm sure somebody's going to be upset with that with me for that, but that's okay. I'm mainly doing this for the one subscriber that wanted me to do this. So now that this is jacked up and you have these busted loose, now you want to just take a regular ratchet and turn them. Okay, you can use your 4-way lug wrench or whatever you have, but this is just kind of your standard run-of-the-mill 1/2-inch square drive ratchet. And I'm going to go ahead and put an extension on here just so that I don't scratch the wheels, getting too close with the handle. So now I'm ready to drive these off the rest of the way. So putting my foot on there so that the wheel doesn't turn. If they were completely tight, it would take more than my foot to hold it into place. It would take a lot of the weight of the car, so that's why you keep it kind of halfway jacked up to get them busted loose. So that's that locking one, and here's that lock socket. So we're just going to do the rest of them just like that. I'm going to go ahead and cheat and just use this 1/2-inch 20-volt impact, cordless impact. You can get one for around $100 on Amazon, various brands, but I don't feel like doing all of that by hand. You can if that's all you have, though. easier that is. Okay, if you haven't removed the wheel in a while, you might have to give it a little kick from underneath the car. Just be careful. Or from right here. So, let's see. Yep, see? Came right off. So, alright, as long as it's not a directional tire. So there might be some debate about this. I don't know if Hyundai has a specific way, but you just want to make sure that these aren't directional tires. You should see some marking that says so, such as an arrow. I know that these are not. Well, I think they are not. So the front ones, you want to go directly to the back. So just zip them all off. Take the. So once you've removed all the wheels, the front wheels will go to the back, and the back wheels will go diagonally to the front. And there are some people that will do the opposite of that. If you have a spare tire on some vehicles, a full-size spare, you can incorporate that. Some vehicles, the rear is a different size than the front, and so on and so forth. So you just want to look it up, the different ways to do it. But that's the way I do it. I just take the front, put them on the back, take the back, and go diagonal on the front. So this is the right rear, it'll go on the front left, and so on and so on. Let's go ahead and assume that you've moved your tires all around to where they're supposed to be, to the proper wheel location. Just hand thread the lug nuts. Okay, I'm kind of holding the tire with my foot like that so it stays on. Okay, just kind of hand thread those until they start to bite down. Just barely thread in. That's how I like to do it. All right, just like that. Pretty straightforward, huh? This one's going to require the key, but for now, we can just thread it in like this. Well, maybe. I guess I better... There we go. Okay, so what I like to do is you have to go in a star pattern. That way you evenly distribute the tension on the tire. But let's just take this two, and put them to where they get flush so that the rest of them can go in. So... Again, you can do this with the ratchet. Okay. I like to go really slow until I know it's flush. Okay, so I'll do. You're supposed to skip one or go in a star pattern. So let's go ahead and put this back on. Yeah, I'm making this video. All right, so I've got the last bolt here, and I'm just putting them all in until they're flush. Again, you can do this with a manual ratchet, but just until they hit the surface, and you can tell that they're all seated evenly. Again, the first two would be the ones just two across from each other, and just slowly do the first one 75% of the way or so, then do this one, and then come back and tighten this one up. You don't want it to be totally tight, just to where it is flush, on each side, and then do these. And now we need to make the final tightening. So if I didn't have an impact and I didn't have a torque wrench, I would just put this on here, this ratchet, and I would tighten these up. You putting your foot there. Let's go ahead and lower it down so that we don't have to put our foot there. We're going to jack it up just enough so that it is off the jack stands, and you should be able to hear that audibly. So we're just going to put it there on the pinch weld, and let's listen for the weight leaving the jack stands. You hear that? So now just pump it up just a little bit more and see if we can clear these out from underneath. There we go. There we go. Make sure that they're free from underneath, and there's nothing else under there that's going to crush, and just lower it down just enough to where we can now tighten these all the way. If you have a standard length 1/2-inch ratchet like this, I would just tighten it just about as tight as you can. Is probably what you're going to want to do. I wouldn't kill yourself, but you have to give it a pretty good effort. If you have a torque wrench, I think it's probably around 83 pounds. I would just do 80 to 90 pounds. I like to do 90. So just go around until it clicks. This isn't a video about how to use that. It's just about how to do the tire rotation, and I'm running out of time. Hope this helps.